Green Lantern is a DC character who hasn't exactly been represented that well in the live-action movies. The 2011 Green Lantern film was a disaster that was supposed to start off the DCEU but failed miserably, thanks to some terrible CGI and a rather convoluted plot.
What the hell is with that mask?
Came with the outfit. Cool, huh?
But Warner Bros. Still want to get Green Lantern out there, and even had Green Lanterns feature in the Justice League movie. I would have said spoiler alert, but that's not really a spoiler. They're in a flashback scene for like 10 seconds. And apart from looking cool for 10 seconds, they're not part of the movie at all. But it seems DC have learnt from their mistakes. Like Marvel, they've tried to introduce characters in other films before the characters get their own films. Marvel does this very well, as shown with Black Panther. We've seen him introduced in Civil War, and then Thor Ragnarok was released by Marvel Studios, and this didn't feature Black Panther. Instead, we had to wait for the next film, which is Black Panthers. Instead of just straight away throwing him in, they've given us time to accept the character, accept that he's part of this huge universe, but other stuff happens as well, and now we get to see his version of the Marvel Universe and what happens to him. But the difference between DC and Marvel is that Marvel were doing this well, making it so the characters fit naturally into the story. Whereas DC just decided to put the entire Justice League on a laptop in Batman vs Superman, and then thought to release the Justice League film with all the characters. Then for some reason the members are each getting their own films after the release. Now what they should have done was what Marvel did, have solo characters films first, and then they team up together. In Marvel this of course was the Avengers, and in DC it would have been the Justice League. The idea behind this of course is that we already know the characters and have been introduced to them, and really want to see them team up together. But we didn't. We only really saw Wonder Woman and a bit of Batman, so we weren't invested in the Justice League characters before the Justice League film came out. Anyway, the point I'm making is that they're getting better at foreshadowing characters, hinting at them in other films before they get their own film. Now, Green Lantern Corps is set to be released in 2020 on July 24th, whereas Wonder Woman 2 is being released in December of 2019. Though I do have to say, of course, that Warner Bros. May change these dates later on, but that's what's been announced so far. Now in the Justice League scene, Green Lanterns are fighting alongside the Amazons, and they're clearly allies who are aware of each other, whereas the rest of humans have never met a Green Lantern or somehow not heard of this story before. Apparently all the men involved in this gigantic battle that nearly destroyed the world just never mentioned it to anyone for some reason. But that plot hole aside, the question is, could this be a foreshadowing of Wonder Woman and a Green Lantern teaming up together in Wonder Woman 2? Now, the plot of Wonder Woman 2 is still up in the air. The latest I've heard is that it will be a sequel to Wonder Woman and a prequel to the Justice League, meaning she'll be in the past but later than World War I, which is of course where she was in the first Wonder Woman film. And wouldn't it be great if she met or teamed up with Abin Sur? Now, for those who don't know who Abin Sur is, he is the Green Lantern who protects the sector that Earth is in. And when he dies on Earth, his ring searches for another potential Green Lantern and finds Hal Jordan. And thus we have the origin of Green Lantern.
No. It's the ring. It has chosen you.
Now, whether Hal Jordan will be the Green Lantern in the Green Lantern Corps film is unknown, but I would imagine that Warner Bros. Will want to distance themselves from the character, as that film was such a failure and obviously they want the next one to be a hit. So they could have one of the other Earth Lanterns as the star, such as Kyle Rayner, Jon Stewart, Guy Gardner or Simon Baz. Though personally I hope it's Kyle Rayner and or Jon Stewart, but anyway, they could easily change the origin of Green Lantern so that the ring goes to someone other than Hal Jordan if they want a new character. After all, it's a movie adaptation, so they are allowed to change a few things. But wouldn't it be great to see the history of a Green Lantern like Abin Sur and have him fighting alongside Wonder Woman in the past? Or even better, if Sinestro was fighting alongside her. Sinestro starts out as the best Green Lantern there is, and then turns into a villain, and leaves the Green Lantern Corps to forge the Yellow Lantern Corps of Fear. And seeing him fight alongside Wonder Woman would be fantastic. He could still be a hero at this point, and part of the story could show how he fell from grace and started becoming a supervillain. And this may be used to set Sinestro up in the Green Lantern Corps, either showing him as such a great lantern, or showing him as the villain. Now, I already know I'll see Wonder Woman 2. The first one had its flaws, but it was still probably the best DC film yet. But if Sinestro is in the trailer fighting alongside Wonder Woman, I will totally geek out, and instead of waiting for the crowds to tie down before I go to the cinema, like I normally do, I'll be there at the first screening I can get to, sitting in the front row. Because that would be an awesome film. And even if Warner Bros. Screw up another DC film, seeing the two of them fighting alongside one another could probably save pretty much any script no matter how bad it is. As long as some decent action between them two, I will be happy. One last thing I do need to say is Warner Bros. Have fixed the CGI of the Green Lantern ring. In the Green Lantern film's Ryan Reynolds version, the CGI was just terrible. But the Justice League Green Lantern's flashback scene has some pretty awesome looking Green Lantern effects, so at least the film will get that right, if nothing else. And obviously at this point this is all speculation, as the Wonder Woman 2 and Green Lantern Corps films haven't even been fully written yet, at least not in 2017. If you're watching this far enough in the future, then maybe. But my point is that Warner Bros. May do this fantastic team-up story, or they may not. But what do you think they'll do? And more importantly, what do you want them to do? Do you want to see a Green Lantern in Wonder Woman 2? Or do you not want to see a Green Lantern film at all? Be sure to let us know in the comments, along with any other heroes or villains you think should be in Wonder Woman 2. And I'd just like to say a quick thank you to those who made this video possible by donating to the Needle Mouse Productions page on Patreon. Patreon is a crowdfunding site that's helping us to bring you more videos each week and to raise funds for adapting comic book stories into short animated films. If you're interested in donating or just want to find out more, a link is in this video's description. And as always, thanks for watching and feel free to subscribe, share, like and comment.